Woman becomes world's first patient to be diagnosed with climate change. Isn't that fantastic? Hello, everybody. Phenomenous here. Yes, it's true. This is from Breezy Scroll. All right. We're all suffering due to climate change, but this Canadian woman becomes the world's first patient to be diagnosed with climate change. Now, we actually talked about this uh, when back in the heat dome. I have 2 videos here. Venomous quick takes under the heat dome, and then Venomous quick takes reset Earth. Both covered the heat dome stuff, and I believe I talked about it then that would be happening because they were talking about it. And here we go. It's here, baby. Because everything has to be one thing, right? We have climate change causes pandemics causes climate changes, etc., etc. And now we have people being diagnosed with climate change as if you're being diagnosed with a disease because everything has to be everything. Okay, it keeps jumping when I try to move it. Canadian woman who is facing breathing problems is possibly the world's first patient to suffer from the direct effects of climate change. How do you prove that? According to the doctors, the poor air quality and heat waves are responsible for her conditions, but poor heat waves and poor air quality has gone on since the beginning of time. You know, we have forest fires causes smoke. That's not due to climate change. That's forest fires as part of fire ecology of a forest. Now, they're talking about the heat dome here, right? The heat waves. They can call out the heat dome, but the heat waves last July, they were actually brought in with the lack of forest fires because there was less forest fires that would bring clouds to cut down the heat. This is what they said when I was reporting on it back then. And then the fires kicked in afterwards. Because of the fire suppression, it caused heat wave. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so yeah, you could say that was man-made, but had man not interfered with natural climate, there would not be a problem. It's not due to climate change. The climate change they talk about, it's because of their climate intervention, I would say. Where was I? According to the doctors, the poor air quality and heat waves are responsible for her condition. The 70-something-year-old can't even get her age properly. The 70-something-year-old was diagnosed after a heat wave by Dr. Kyle Merritt. All of her health problems have worsened, and she's really struggling to stay hydrated, as old people do. We had to figure out how to cool someone in an emergency department. People were running out to the dollar store to buy spray bottles, said the head of the emergency department. Now, you know that's bullshit because when you're in a hospital, people come in with fevers, and sometimes the fever's so extreme you have to cool them down right away. So if you don't have that ability as an emergency department, what are you doing handling people that are coming in with heat stroke and stuff? Canada saw a historic heat wave in June. Unfortunately, it followed with a thick smog, some season kindled by the multiple wildfires. British Columbia, the westernmost region of the nation, saw record-breaking temperatures earlier this year. According to experts, it led to over 500 deaths. Additionally, the wildfires worsened the air quality by 43 times than the acceptable levels. Now, also, they reported back then that a lot of these older people, which are mostly the victims of heat waves, right? Because this happens. This is a normal thing that happens. People die because of heat waves. And it's usually the elderly because they're not getting enough air conditioning or, they're in these tightly packed care homes that aren't well ventilated sometimes, as they stated in the reports during the heat dome. So obviously you're going to experience stuff like that, especially when you're trying to be sustainable and not letting people have their air conditioning and et cetera, et cetera. So anyways, total nonsense coming from the mainstream media. After the effects of the heat wave, the doctor in British Columbia noted that the senior citizen was suffering from asthma. That also would cause breathing problems, uh, or like heighten your susceptibility to these conditions. But this was the first time that he attributed climate change as a direct cause of suffering, because that makes sense. If we're not looking at the underlying cause and we're just treating the symptoms, we're just going to keep falling further and further behind. It's me trying to just process what I'm seeing, said the emergency room doctor. We're in the emergency department. We look after everybody, from the most privileged to the most vulnerable, from cradle to grave. We see everybody, and it's hard to see people, especially the most vulnerable people in our society, being affected. It's frustrating, said Dr. Merritt. No, what's frustrating is you're shilling for the New World Order, you piece of garbage. But, yeah, so there you go. What do we got here? Famine. So other news stories. So we got climate change now, a cause of, I don't know, a cause of illness, a death. So there you go. It's a diagnosis now. You could be diagnosed with climate change. You know who will be at fault? All those dirty polluters. And anyone who's not being sustainable will be a criminal, just like anyone not getting the vax. I'm sorry. Did I say that, YouTube? I didn't mean to say vax. What was I thinking? Getting the treatment, the secret sauce. Anyone who refuses that is also part of the problem. Just add it to the big list of shit that is currently plaguing our society. Anyways, I wanted to bring that to your attention. This is just a quick video. I have more to come. Thanks for stopping by. This is Venomous reporting from the brave new world. Catch you next time.